So on Friday, President Ramaphosa signed the Bela Bill into a law. And ever since the president has signed this bill into a law, I have been looking at people's reaction towards the president signing this bill into a law. And I have realized that the comrades are totally fine with the bill. The African National Congress is happy. The ANC is happy that the president is still able to implement the ANC's policy despite the ANC not winning the elections. But they are happy with the fact that Ramaphosa is still able to implement the policy. You remember not so long ago, the minister in the presidency, I think Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, she was very clear to say that now that there is a government of national unity, there is not a single political party that is going to implement its own policies. All the policies that are going to be implemented going forward are the policies of the government of national unity. But it is shocking today to see that the ANC, the same ANC that has been making noise about implementing the policies of the government of national unity, is the same ANC that is implementing its own policies. And the political parties that are in the government of national unity, there is no pushback from those political parties to the ANC and saying, guys, this is your bill. This is not the bill of the GNU, because many people would have actually expected the GNU to take this bill and to review it together so that maybe they can have a consensus about how the bill is going to be implemented. But truth of the matter is that this is an ANC bill, and President Ramaphosa steamed ahead and signed it into a law. So I have realized that the ANC is happy. If you were in the ANC, of course, you would be happy because your policies are still being implemented in the GNU despite you not winning the elections, and the fact that the political parties that are supposed to hold you accountable, they are sitting there and clapping hands for you. If you were in the ANC, you would actually be happy. You look at the reaction from the parents. Many parents are not happy about this bill because they see this bill as something that is designed to take their rights away from their children's education. The parents are not happy because they feel like they are going to be excluded from their children's education, and they won't even have a say about how their children are actually educated in this country. So there's a lot of dissatisfaction coming from the parents when it has to do with this Bela bill. What I really, again, find very concerning is that many people still do not know what the Bela bill means. If you were to have conversations with average people on the street, how many people do you actually think understand what the Bela bill is and what the Bela bill means? So I found it very disingenuous that the president would actually go out and sign a bill into a law, a bill that a lot of parents in the country still do not know what it means. So what was the rush? Why was the president in such a rush to implement this bill? Why is the president not sending his people into different communities so that those people can have conversations with the parents on the ground and make them understand that this is how your children's education is going to change? But they are not even interested in doing that. And I found it very disingenuous. Many people have actually sent me messages and said, Thomas, we went online and we read the bill, but the problem is that I cannot understand what the bill actually means. So there's another problem. The bill is not written in a manner that average South Africans on the street can actually understand. The bill is not written in layman's terms so that everyone who actually reads it can actually understand it. So what was the rush from the president to actually go out and sign this bill? I still do not understand. So speaking again of people's reaction towards the bill, I think many people right now, especially the DA supporters, I feel like the DA supporters have expressed their dissatisfaction towards the party and the DA actually allowing the ANC to implement these policies. Because if you sit back and actually realize, you can see that what is happening right now in the government of national unity is that the ANC is going to continue to implement its own policies. It doesn't matter if the DA is in favor of those policies or what. The ANC is going to continue to implement its own policies, because at the end of the day, they know that the DA will not pull out of the government of national unity, because the DA has told the people time and time again that if we pull out of the government of national unity, we are actually making a way for the radical organizations like the EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe. So the ANC actually realizes that no, we can do everything that we want. We can do everything that we want, and the DA is only going to scream, is only going to make noise, but they are not going to take any action about these things that we are doing. They are simply going to go out in public and tell the people how unhappy they are about the fact that we are implementing these policies as the ANC, but the DA does not have the balls to actually go out of the government of national unity and say that this is not what we are going to stand for. Because if you remember, this Bella bill was supposed to be a red line between the DA and the ANC. This is where the DA will say that if you sign this bill, then we are done. And the reports actually came out that the DA actually threatened to leave the government of national unity over President Ramaphosa signing the Bella bill. And what did the ANC do? The ANC said, to hell with the DA. If the DA wants to leave, then the DA can go out and leave. We are not going to be told by the DA what to do as the African National Congress. So the ANC has actually realized that they got the DA by the balls, because the DA is not able or does not even have courage to do anything, because anything that the ANC do and the DA is not happy about, the DA will not even have the courage to take any action, because they don't want to pave a way for MK Party and the EFF. So the question that many people have actually asked over the weekend, they were saying, how long will the DA continue to sit there and listen to the ANC and watch the ANC destroy this country and not doing anything about it, because they don't want to pave the way from the MK Party and the EFF? This is a question that a lot of the DA supporters have actually asked, that what next? You guys said that if the ANC, if Ramaphosa signs the Bella bill into a law, then you are going to pull out of the government of national unity. But a couple of hours after those reports actually came out, the DA again went on television and said, no. We are not going to pull out of the government of national unity, because we understand that if we pull out of the government of national unity, we are paving a way for EFF and MK Party. So right now, the DA is literally destroying its own fan base. It's literally destroying its own support base by supporting the ANC and not being able to take any action, because if they take any action, they are paving a way for MK Party and the EFF. I think that the DA is going to suffer a lot when it comes to these policies that they have allowed the ANC to sign into law, and not doing anything about it, and simply saying that we cannot do anything about it because we don't want to pave a way for the EFF and the MK Party. I believe that a lot of DA supporters right now, they are frustrated. This is the frustration that these people have actually expressed on social media, on radio, on television, everywhere. You listen to the DA supporters, they are actually disappointed with the fact that the DA would actually sit there and allow the ANC to put these laws to sign these laws, to sign these bills into laws. They are not happy about the fact that the DA, it is a political party that was supposed to make sure that the ANC does not destroy the country. The DA, it is not a political party that was supposed to make sure that the ANC destroys the country while they are making the excuses for it. The DA was supposed to be there in the government of national unity to make sure that the ANC does not destroy the country. But now the ANC continues to implement its own policies despite them not winning the elections. And many people are not happy about that. Many DA supporters are not happy about it. So how is the DA actually going to spin this around? It is going to be quite fascinating. It's going to be quite fascinating to see how the DA is going to spin this one around, because their supporters are not happy. Their supporters are not happy about the fact that this Bella bill has been signed into a law and the DA is there with African National Congress. Their supporters are not happy at all. their supporters are not happy at all.
But you see, what became really interesting was the news that the president got up to 50,000 emails on Friday asking him not to sign the bill. But you see, the president signed it anyway.
Implementation on signing should start immediately. However, I have said as president, I am willing to allow those who do believe that a solution will be found to the two clauses that they believe they have solutions for, to give them the opportunity. So I've decided to delay the implementation for clauses 4 and 5 of the bill by a period of 3 months. The rest of the act is implemented immediately. For 3 months, I allow 4 and 5 to have those engagements. This will give the parties time to deliberate on these issues and make proposals on how the different views may be accommodated. Should the parties not be able to agree, I want to make this clear, should the parties not be able to agree on an approach, then we will proceed with the full implementation of all the parts of the bill within a 3-month period.
So obviously, John.
So I want to play
all the parts of the bill within a 3-month period.
So obviously,
I want to play Clement Manyathela's response to what the president has actually said. I want you to listen to what Clement Manyathela actually believes about what the president has actually said about those laws and those clauses that some political parties are not happy about. Man, it is crazy, man. It is crazy what is actually happening. It is crazy. It is crazy.
With Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show on this 16th day of September. It's wonderful to have you with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning. I hope you had a wonderful magic weekend too. We kick off the show with the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. The president, as you may have seen on Friday, has decided to delay the implementation date of 2 clauses in the Bella Bill by 3 months. I wonder what your thoughts are on this. These are clauses that the DA and other organizations are most unhappy about. They deal with the language policy of schools and admissions and the control or lack thereof resting in the hands of school governing bodies. So this 3 months will allow for parties to deliberate on the contentious issues and make proposals on how the different views may be accommodated. The president said, should the parties not be able to agree on an approach, government will proceed with the implementation of these parts of the bill. Now, let's say that there are parties that raise their issues and the president and other stakeholders see where they're coming from. What happens next? Will that necessitate the redrafting of these clauses? And how do you redraft the clauses of the bill if you have already signed it into law? If you have issues with the bill, especially issues around the bill's constitutionality, the constitution is very clear. As the president, you send it back to parliament. There's nothing, in fact, in the constitution that allows for a partial signing of the bill, unless I'm missing something. So the president's announcement on the delay of the implementation of these clauses has no effect, really, on the bill, on the law. Whether he will be convinced that changes be made or not, the bill is already signed. Not half of it, not 90% of it, 100% of it.
So Ramaphosa only said those things to make the DA and other political parties to feel like, okay, maybe there is something that we can do about the bill, but the truth of the matter is that the bill has already been signed. Those clauses that Ramaphosa is speaking about, they are there in the bill. They are there in the bill already. They are there. It has been signed already. So him saying all of these things, it is just to make sure that his partners do not get out of the way to actually disrupt him. No, just to make sure that everyone still believes that, okay, maybe there is something that we can do about this bill. But the truth of the matter is that the bill has already been signed with those clauses that the DA actually hates. The bill is already signed. President Ramaphosa signed that bill. He did.
What he announced, in my view, is just a political tactic to manage political dynamics. What do you think? After these 3 months, if there is an understanding that, okay, there are things that we need to amend and change about this bill, it has to go back to Parliament. There must be an amendment. There must then be a public consultation. I don't know how that's going to work when the president already has signed the bill, but then you can maybe amend it. But that's going to take some time because you don't amend bills without public consultations. There's just so much in the process that must still unfold. I'm just saying this so that you become careful so we're not sidestepped or we hear political decisions being announced and we really think that they've got a bearing really on the effect of the law that the president has now signed, the bills the president has now signed into law. That's my view.
The bill has already been signed. The bill has already been signed. So Ramaphosa can stand there and pretend like, okay, there is something that can still be done about the bill. No, that is the thing. The bill has already been signed. The bill has already been signed. So I believe that this is going to hurt the DA a lot. The DA, if they are not careful, they are going to be hurt by these decisions that the ANC is making, and them sitting there and actually watching the ANC making these decisions and not even having the guts to do anything about it. So it is going to hurt them. I believe so, totally. I believe so. You remember when the DA decided to get into the GNU with the ANC, one of the things they said is that, no, we are not going to allow a vote of no confidence on Ramaphosa over the matter of Phala-Phala because we believe that, okay, this is the government of national unity. We cannot vote against the president we actually voted for. Okay, some of the supporters of the DA, they were not happy about the fact that the DA has now turned its back on Phala-Phala. But okay, they were like, okay, fine, let's see how it goes. And now Ramaphosa comes out again and he signs the Bela bill into law. So now the same people who were actually not happy with the fact that the DA said we are not going to support any motion of no confidence on Ramaphosa over the matter of Phala-Phala, those people are angry right now because they are saying, what the hell is happening? You protected him for Phala-Phala. Now you are going to allow him to sign the Bela bill into law. What next? What next? What next? What next are you going to allow Ramaphosa to actually do? So what is it are you people gaining? Because the ANC continues to do its thing. What is it that you people are gaining? What is it that you people are gaining? So now the same supporters who were not happy but said, okay, maybe we can tolerate this. Maybe we must not destabilize the GNU because of this matter of Phala-Phala. Okay, let's peg it on the side and pretend like it didn't happen. The same people now are angry. They are angry. These people are the parents. They are not happy about the fact that Ramaphosa steamrolled this bill and signed it into law. They are not happy about it. And I think they are not happy at all towards the political party they actually voted for. They did not vote for the Bela bill to actually be signed into law. They did not vote for the Bela bill to actually be signed into a law. So I believe that this is going to hurt the DA. I don't think it's going to do a lot of damage to the IFP I don't think it's going to do a lot of damage to Patriotic Alliance. I don't think it's going to do a lot of damage to other political parties in the GNU. But when it comes to the DA, I don't believe that their supporters are happy about these moves that have been made by the ANC, and the DA just sitting there and allowing them to make these moves. They're not going to stand for that. They're not going to stand for that.
Of all the parts of the bill within a 3-month period.
But obviously, John Steenhuisen came out and did what he's pretty much done on everything so far. He basically showed that he doesn't really have the courage of his own convictions, because he said that whilst the president would sign the bill, John basically did what John appears to be doing quite a lot at the moment, and that is he backed down on his threat to leave the GNU should the president sign the bill. Now, you see, the president could see that there was a degree of dispute occurring between the ANC and the DA, and invited all the key GNU members to Cape Town to discuss how they would deal with conflict resolution to keep the GNU together. Now, interestingly enough, the reports are that the president said that all the top tier members, the ministers of the GNU, should be responsible for the policy direction or the top issues, but they shouldn't be responsible for the second tier stuff, the nitty gritty. That should be left to other people to basically get in and dispute. The president actually said that they need to be involved in high level political issues, and everybody else should be quite happy with that, and they should all deal with the stuff below that. So what does that actually mean? Well, the basic education minister, who is also a DA member, had this to say about the implementation of the bill.
In a long time. So it was long overdue. The bill in itself was long overdue, because what we were dealing with was piecemeal court cases and court findings that were guiding policy making. But we ourselves as the sector had not sat and looked at how do we deal with legislation that will guide the way in which we do work. So the legislation is not only important, it is incredibly useful for us to achieve some of those things that we put down here. It is incredibly useful because when we're talking about the universal access of grade R, those things are contained in the legislation. And so once that process was done, as with any piece of legislation, the legislation is now before the president. And so we wait for him to make his next step. And the next step is, the steps are usually either two things that he could do. He could either, on the basis of Section 79 of the Constitution, decide to send the bill back to Parliament by saying that there are constitutional concerns, or he could merely sign the bill. My understanding is that the President has indicated, as of yesterday, I think, that he will be signing the bill this Friday, the 13th. And so ours, as a department, remember I said that it's important that we insulate ourselves, and starting with me, insulating you from the political headwinds, right? So ours is not to listen to the political noise out there. We are professionals. If a bill is signed, we implement the bill.
Number one.
That's it.
And I think this is one of the things that is actually making people angry, because you remember that the DA said, no. We are withdrawing from the GNU if this bill is signed into law. Then after that, no. We are no longer pulling out of the GNU because of the Bela bill. And even with the minister, the SADU, that organization, SADU is calling for the minister to actually resign, because the minister boycotted the event where the president was signing the Bela bill. SADU was not happy with the fact that Minister Khwaruve actually boycotted that event. But at the same time, the same people that were supposed to be boycotting the Bela bill are now pushing the Bela bill. So I think this thing is one of the things that it's actually making people more furious with the Democratic Alliance.
Now, following the signing of the bill, the DA did something rather interesting, and that was it said that it would be taking the bill to court. They said that they were instructing lawyers to dispute sections 4 and 5 of the bill. Now, I'm a little bit lost as to why they did this, because the president actually said that he would delay the implementations of these two sections pending a review. He said everything else is going to be implemented, but these two sections, namely the language sections and the admission sections, the points that are basically causing people argumentation, he said those things, we'll deal with them by committee, we'll suspend implementing them for 3 months, and maybe that will be the subject of an amendment, if you will. But the DA says that it's pursuing court action anyway, whilst also saying that it's going to be implementing the Act. And they wouldn't really walk away from the GNU, even if there were things they didn't like. To me, this just all seems like a degree of flip-flopping. I mean, it doesn't seem that the DA seems to know really how it wants to progress with this GNU. Is it just going to bend over and take any little thing that the ANC wants it to say? I mean, the ANC's already set the agenda, and there's a number of things on the agenda that the DA say they don't like. PE, NHR, the Bella Bill. It appears like there is a high degree of theatrics going on here. At every opportunity, all the DA appears to be doing is just implementing ANC policy, which coincidentally was one of the things that I called a morning shot. I did say I was a little bit concerned about them getting in bed with the ANC, at least the ANC corrupts them. And many people in the comments asked me at the time, what do I mean by corrupting them? Well, this, basically. Anyway, you can let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Yeah, people are literally saying that no, man, right now we are witnessing the DA being swallowed by the ANC. This is what we are witnessing right now. The ANC is literally swallowing the DA right in front of our eyes, and there is nothing that we can do about it. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it, because these people are swallowing the DA in front of our eyes. And many people are actually disappointed, because you look at the DA, it is a political party that many of us actually advocated for the DA to get into the GNU with the ANC. One of the reasons why, me personally, I was so for the DA getting into the government with the ANC and the GNU. First, it was that, of course, we don't need the EFF and Umkhonto we Sizwe getting into bed with the ANC. We know that there won't be any accountability, none whatsoever. So we saw the DA as a political party that can actually put the brakes on the ANC and actually stop the ANC from destroying the country any further. But you look right now what is happening. It is quite disappointing to see, because as you're sitting back and you're like, man, the DA is allowing the ANC to do everything they want. They are allowing the ANC to do everything they want. So right now, the DA might as well pull out of the government of national unity, allow the ANC to get into power with the EFF and Umkhonto we Sizwe, because this is what they were going to do anyway. This is what they were going to do anyway. People actually expected the DA to be able to put the brakes on the ANC. This is what we expected. We expected the DA to put the brakes on the ANC. Because this Bella Bill, is it an ANC Bella Bill, or is it a government of national unity Bella Bill? That is the question that needs to be answered. Is this the Bella Bill of the ANC, or is this the government of national unity Bella Bill? That is one thing that needs to be answered. Because if it's a ANC Bella Bill, why is the ANC implementing its own policies? When you people said that there is not a single political party that is going to implement its own policies specifically. All the policies that are going to be implemented are going to be the GNU policies, not the ANC policies, not the DA policies, not the Patriotic Alliance policies, not the IFP policies, but the policies of the government of national unity. This is what Khumbudzo Ntshavheni would say time and time again, especially when they were actually questioned about how implementing the policy is going to work in the government of national unity. They said, no, not a single political party has the right to implement its own policies specifically. The policies that needs to be implemented here are the policies of the government of national unity. So are these people telling us that this Bella Bill, it is the government of national unity policy? Is it a government of national unity policy? I think this is one thing that many people are actually asking for. This is what many people are actually asking for. Is this a government of national unity policy? Is it a government of national unity policy? So, on Friday, Neil de Beer, the leader of the United Independent Movement also reacted to President Ramaphosa signing the bill, and he also reacted to the DA, Freedom Front Plus, IFP, and other political parties that were in the Moonshot Pact that are now in the government of national unity, them actually sitting down and allowing the ANC to implement the Bela bill. He actually expressed his dissatisfaction and the disappointment towards those political parties specifically. I mean, when it comes to the ANC, I mean, like I believe that people cannot be disappointed with the ANC in terms of how the ANC actually does its things. I mean, like the ANC, of course, the ANC, this is the stuff that actually they like. But when it comes to the DA and other political parties, some people actually expected them to put the brakes on the ANC, especially when it comes to policies like the Bela bill and NHI, and you see. So Neil de Beer actually responded to President Ramaphosa signing the Bela bill into a law, and he also touched into the political parties that are in the GNU for actually allowing President Ramaphosa to sign this bill into a law.
A couple of hours ago, in this country, this Republic of South Africa, the president of this country, who is not the person I elected to be president, a man who I did not and will not support as my leader, a person who has been and again appointed by so many without any conscience or understanding that this man, who is supposed to be the number one citizen of my country, who was at best elected without a quorum. Yeah, quorum. Now, normally a quorum, if you understand business and if you understand meetings and if you understand basic common law, a quorum is when you need 50 plus 1, for example, constituted people to constitute a legal meeting. You need 50 plus 1 for any meeting to be official. You need 50 plus 1, in my opinion, the majority, to govern. You need 50 plus 1 to be able to say, I was elected by the majority. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa, Suki Cyril, hear me today. You were not elected by the majority of this country. You were not elected by the majority of the people who you currently govern. Let's be clear. Your political party got 40%, which is not the majority. You, therefore, are now currently the president of a country without a majority. You are currently sitting in the seat as a president, in my opinion, illegitimately, if we want to talk about a quorum. So think quickly that the majority of the people of this country voted against you, voted against your party, voted against your governance, voted against your attitude, voted against what you do to us as citizens. We went to the national box and you lost. You bloody lost. Maar wragtig sit jy daar. And you call this a government of national unity. Shocking.
I mean, like, there is no, like right now, like, it feels like there is no government of national unity. It's just an ANC government right now. It is just an ANC government. It is just an ANC government. I mean, there are so many examples, man, when it comes to how the ANC has actually finessed the DA. You remember last time I made a video. Do you remember last time when the DA was actually pushed outside in Gauteng? I came on the platform and I said, man, the ANC has actually played with the DA. They have played with the DA because the DA, it is a political party that actually ensured that Ramaphosa becomes the president of the country. And after the DA has ensured that Ramaphosa becomes the president of the country, Ramaphosa went ahead and invited thousands of political parties, diluting the power of the DA inside of governance. This is what he did to actually thank the DA for voting for him to be the president of the country. He went ahead and actually invited thousands of political parties and said, no, we are forming a government of national unity. We are forming a government of national unity. And while doing so, he was actually diluting the power of the DA by inviting thousands and thousands of political parties into the GNU. The Gauteng situation came, and Panyaza Lesufi and his friends in Gauteng, they said, no, we are not obliged to work with the DA. We don't care that the DA is the political party that actually ensured that the ANC government has a president running the country. No, we don't care about that, but we are not going to govern the Gauteng with the DA. If anything, we might as well go ahead with our minority government, but we are not going to put the DA in. We are not going to put the DA in. So these are just many instances when you sit down and actually think about and say, how long will the DA allow the ANC to continue stabbing them like this? How long is the DA going to sit down and allow the ANC to continue stabbing them at every single chance they get? Stabbing them at every single chance they get. At every single chance they get. You remember Helen Zille was on television saying, no, the ANC cannot invite other political parties into the GNU without the DA. The ANC said, no, that clause is only going to kick in after the GNU has been formed. Now that the GNU is still being in formation, the ANC can invite as many political parties as it wants. And this is the ANC right now responding to a political party that gave them the president of the country and the speaker of the parliament. They said no. And Helen Zille was furious on television. And saying, why are these people inviting so many political parties? There is a clause there. There is a clause that actually says that, no, these people cannot invite other political parties into the GNU without the say-so of the DA. And the ANC said, no, your interpretation is wrong. Your interpretation is wrong. That clause only kicks in when the GNU has already been formed. And the DA, what did the DA do? They said, fine, you can invite as many political parties as you want. They said, fine. Gauteng came and the ANC sidelined the DA in front of everybody else. The ANC sidelined, they sidelined the DA and said, no. The DA is impossible to work with. The DA is impossible to work with. And what did the DA do? They were okay with it, with the ANC actually sidelining them in Gauteng. The ANC literally sidelined them in Gauteng. The DA was supposed to be one of the political parties that are governing Gauteng, but no, the ANC is the one that is governing Gauteng. Despite the ANC getting 34%, they are governing Gauteng as if they got 70%. The ANC has how many MECs? Does the ANC have in Gauteng? They have 7 or 8 MECs out of 11. They are governing Gauteng as if they won Gauteng, but they didn't win. They didn't win. And what did they do after that? They just invited these political parties like Rise Mzansi and the political parties that practically do not have the power. So right now Gauteng is being governed by ANC, and despite the ANC losing the elections in Gauteng. So how long, that? I guess that is the question that people ask. How long will the DA allow the ANC to continue stabbing them at every single chance they get? How long will the DA continue to make excuses for the ANC? The ANC doesn't give a damn about the DA. It's clear as day. The ANC does not give a damn about the DA. They don't give a damn. Last time the DA threatened to get out of the government of national unity over this Bella bill, what did Fikile Mbalula? Fikile Mbalula went on television and to say, and to hell with the DA. This is what Fikile Mbalula said: to hell with the DA. If the DA wants to get out of the GNU, they can move out of the GNU. These are the people that are forgetting that the DA is the political party that gave them the president. If it wasn't for the DA, the ANC was not going to have a president in Ramaphosa. The EFF was, there's no way the EFF was going to vote with the ANC to have Ramaphosa as the president. Umkhonto Wesizwe, they were quite clear that the only way that the ANC can move forward is if Ramaphosa get out as the president of the party. They didn't want Ramaphosa to be the president of the party. They didn't want Ramaphosa to be the president of the country. So even with Umkhonto Wesizwe, there is no way that Umkhonto Wesizwe was going to vote with the ANC to have Ramaphosa as the president of the party. But what did the DA do? The DA voted with the ANC to have Ramaphosa as the president of the country. And what did the DA get? So how long, man? How long?
There's no unity here. And what you did today, what you, with your arrogance and your people in that GNU, the GNU, what you did today was you urinated, yeah? You publicly went to urinate. You went to spit on the right of us as parents to have that ultimate say about the future of our children. You did that today. Nou kom ons kry nou hierdie uit ons borste uit. What I'm telling you now is not a rumor, it is not a story, it is the truth, the real truth. And those of you that are UIM supporters since day one, you that know the fight we've had, I will declare it today. You can be my witness. If you agree, send me a like. I'm going to spill my guts on what happened today. A couple of hours ago, under massive applause and rara, the president of this country, knowingly, without a doubt, that the majority of people in this country that are parents and that have an IQ rejected the Bella Bill. There can be no doubt that every day people were getting up and saying, Mr. President, do not sign that bill. We are begging you to review that bill. The majority of the people that have IQ, who read the bloody thing, who understand the implication of that, rejected it vehemently. Van die staf af het ons dit uitgeskop. Now I want to make it clear, and this is on public record, I have the evidence of it, that the UIM, through its Office of the President, its Vice President Fatima Abdul, the multitude of citizens, objected against the signing of this Bella Bill from the day the draft went out. The amount of social media posts, the amount of vehement rejection on record, the letters our Secretary General wrote to Parliament, to ministers, to object against the Bella Bill is on record. It's on record. Now, when you understand the implication of the Bella Bill, forget about the so-called government trying to regulate education, which they have failed since 94. They have slaughtered education in this country. Kom ons praat reguit. What I'm saying, you thinking. I've just got a bigger platform to tell people this. Now spread this. Spread this. They are going to educate our children to death. They're going to un-IQ them, if there's a word like that. They already put the bar at 30% just to qualify. 30%, and you want to tell me at a pass rate of 30%, you are going to build the future of South Africa to be globally competitive. What a laugh.
There is no way. There is no way that children that are being taught in this country can compete with other children throughout the world. There is no way. There is no way. And what I really found disturbing about the bill is that it says nothing about actually improving the literacy. It says nothing about improving the education system. It is just a bill talking about how the government is going to take over from the parents. It has nothing to do with the education of children. It has absolutely nothing to do with the education of children. It has nothing to do with the education of children. So there is no way that young people in this country are going to compete with young people throughout the world. As long as we have these people, as long as we have this 30% that we are talking about each and every time, there is no way that children in this country are going to compete with other children throughout the world. They cannot even read for a meaning. They cannot even read for a meaning. Just look at the statistics. Just look at how many children in this country that are going to school, finish school, and they even have comprehension problems. They even have comprehension problems. So there's a lot that actually needs to be fixed. There's a lot that needs to be fixed. So you would think that the government, a progressive government, would actually look into the matters like that, instead of just looking at how they are going to strip the parents from actually having a say about their children's education. You would think these people would look at all of these things that actually matter. But no, they are just interested in taking the parents, the parents' right away from their children's education. It is so sad, man.
Lachwekkend. But now more than that, you are taking the control of homeschooling, the dictation of a parent having the right to educate their children according to your belief. You will probably stifle the fact that religion can no longer be allowed to go into our schools. You are going to regulate the language of education. You are going to take the power away from who we have given the power to, which is the governing bodies of schools. Now let's just focus on that. You are taking away the right for the duly elected, het jy my gehoor, Cyril, the properly constituted and elected school governing bodies, which the majority of them are parents. You are going to nullify it. You are going to take away the only implication of direct governance at schools from parent to teacher. Jou gat. But that's not all. This is like a very mark advert. But dis nie alles nie.
And I wonder how the bill is going to encourage, if that's the word, I wonder how the bill is going to encourage the illegal immigrants to actually come into the country. Because there is a clause that actually says that the children of illegal immigrants will have to be accepted into the public schools. So it's bad enough that people are in the country illegally. It's bad enough that it is a crime on its own being in a country illegally. But with the Bella Bill, it is totally fine, because the children of those people that are in the country illegally will now be accepted into the public schools, while the children, South African children, are struggling to find schools, while some of the schools are overpopulated. The children of illegal immigrants are now going to be accepted in public schools. And you, as the taxpayers, are expected to pay for everything. You are expected to pay for all of these things. You are. They say pay for it. Pay for it. It's not enough that you are paying for illegal immigrants' security, you are paying for their medication, you are paying for their shelter. Now you have to pay for their children to actually get education. So when these news actually reach out to these African countries that are causing us problems in the country, how do you think those people are actually going to respond? Do you think that we're going to be able to actually get hang of the issue of illegal immigration in the country? Because it sounds like the issue of illegal immigration is going to be worse, because they know that when you are in South Africa as an illegal immigrant, you can get the grant. You can get the grant, and after getting the grant, you can send your children to one of their schools, and they will pay for everything. They will pay for everything. So I can actually argue that it's going to make the issue of illegal immigration pretty worse in the country. It's going to make everything worse in the country.
What is the most disturbing, the most treacherous, the most treasonous outcry against us as parents today is not the fact that you want to control our children's future in their brain. But what is the worst today, and he track my line, is that the political parties that you voted for, you see, you didn't vote for the UIM. Jy het die beer se bek toegemaak in die parlement. Julle het my te neergedruk en julle het my bek laat snoer. You put a gagging order on me because we were so-called partners. We supported freedom. We supported the removal of the ANC vehemently. And as a senior member of the multi-party charter who stood to change the country, that drank the Oros and the Fanta, that you the DA, you the Freedom Front, you the IFP, you the ACDP, you Action SA, you stood there and said that I joined that to take away the right of Cyril Ramaphosa. You told me that you were going to remove that man, remove the ANC from power so that we did not get to today. I resigned from the multi-party charter because I gave my word to the constituents, the voters, and the UIM supporters. I gave you my word that the day the multi-party charter members negotiate a co-governance with the ANC, I'm out. Ek is uit. And you know what I did? I left. Yes, I did, on record. I took the UIM out of the partnership, the coalition with all of those parties because I kept my word. Nou hoor my Suid-Afrika, hoor my duidelik. Daar is net een ding as jy kaal staan voor God, is daar net twee goed wat jy oor het. Dit is jou geloof in God en jou woord. Jou woord is jou eer. Now, although it killed me, although it probably sank our entry into parliament, my access to be a minister, my voice in parliament, although we sacrificed it because the people lied to us. They lied. While we were fighting to unite against the ANC draconian government, which I was part of at once, but when I saw they're going to do this, I left and fought them. You are my witnesses. The parties that got up and said we will remove the ANC are now in bed, in coalition, in partnership with that very ANC. Now, South Africa, take your muffling blockage off your ear. Mamela Kabane. Ek het beklei. Ek het nog tot gister beklei Ek het nog gister vir die DA, die leierskap gesê, you've got to draw a line in the sand because you're threatening your attitude of saying we are going to leave the ANC, we are going to walk out of the GNU. You did not. In actual fact, the very person that we were going to remove as the multi-party charter, as the people against this law, you sold us out. I'm clear. You sold us out today. Because if you sit there and you say because of participation, because of power, because of being part, you will let laws like this pass? Vragtig, dan staan ek liewerste alleen. Dan staan ek liewerste buite hierdie GNU en beklei vir die mense van hierdie land. En dit is wat gebeur het vandag. Daai donder het vandag daai Bella Bill onderteken met 'n gejuig en 'n gejubel van 'n klomp daklose, breinlose mense wat alles sal doen net vir Mammon, net vir die god van Mammon. En omdat hulle greedy is, they are power hungry, and they took this to the table and had it signed. Now they can say what they want. Those political parties know who they are. Shame on you. Sis op jou. Shame on the DA. Shame on the IFP. Shame on the Freedom Front. I don't care. I know all your leadership. I was there. And shame on you today that you allow the future, the destiny, the absolute youth of our country to be nailed to the cross by this Bella Bill. You failed us today. Today, I realize why myself, Neil de Beer, why the United Independent Movement is not in the government of so-called national unity. I realize today, and that is that God, ons eie God se ideologie, was that we stay out of this cabal. Nothing anymore that the DA and any other party in that government of national unity, whatever they are going to sell you, tell you, or try and propaganda you, today there's only one thing I want South Africa to listen, and that is that document is signed. Hy's geteken. Shame on you. If you are today a DA member, if you are today any member of the ANC or a member of any party in the government of national unity, I want you to hear today, you failed us today. You failed us. Sis, my oma sou sê, het julle nie skaamte nie. Now you can tell me the absolute rubbish that you tried, that you boycotted, that you objected. Listen, luister, julle praat gemors. Absolute twak. You failed. You failed. There is a video, and we'll post it if we want to, where Helen Zille says on record that the Bella Bill is a non-negotiable. What? I didn't say so. On record, Helen Zille, the Secretary General or whatever you call her of the DA, I know you. You said on record that the Bella Bill is a absolute non-negotiable. So too the NHI, so too the draconian anti-terror law, so all the other 133 laws that bring back reverse apartheid. You were there. I'm upset. Ek is nie upset nie. Ek is dit tolerant. Because you lied. Jy het gelieg. There's no other word. The parties in the GNU should be shockingly dipping your hands in the sand today. You sold us out. You went through an election telling us that we would never have an ANC government again, and when you started to negotiate with the enemy, I, the president of the UIM, withdrew from the multi-party charter. I left you, en toe het ek vir julle gesê, julle moet hoor my voor my Here, ek gaan vir julle bliksem elke dag as julle ons uitverkoop. Daar's hy, 13 September, Vrydag, 2024 het julle ons uitverkoop. You sold us out. Can you imagine being a voter of any of those parties in the GNU that were there to vote for you, that this would not happen? How shocked they must be today.
Yeah, the voters are pretty shocked. The voters are pretty shocked. They are.
Maar julle het vir ons gesê, ons het nie 'n ander keuse gehad nie. Ons moes 'n partnership met die ANC vorm, want wat was die alternatief? Die alternatief was dat MK en die EFF partnership sou doen met Cyril. Absoluut gemors. You lied. My pa het vir my gesê, en ek is jammer oor die volgende woord, my pa het vir my gesê, seun, ek ken nie verskil tussen kak en modder, en hierdie is duidelik nie modder nie. Jammer vir my woorde. Maar wragtig, ek sit hier in die mooiste dorp in die wêreld, strand. Hier in Somerset West Helderberg. Ek sit in my kar en ek kry hierdie nuus en ek is teleurgesteld. Ek is te tolerant. Ek is bebliksemd. Al die woorde, bliksemstraal donder weer. En ek wil graag iemand moer vandag. Maar julle in die parlement, julle wat ons stemme gevat het en gesê het ons sal julle verdedig, ons het julle laat aangaan met die ANC op hierdie GNU, because one reason, you told us that if you are part of the government of national unity, you will defend us. You will be able to be part of the government. You will be able to protect us. Kak!
Exactly, and this is why many people are so disappointed with the fact that the ANC is still able to push through things like Bela Bill, when there are political parties in the GNU that have actually promised to put the brakes on the ANC. They were supposed to be there to put the brakes on the ANC, but they are not supposed to be there, allowing the ANC to do everything they want and giving people the excuse that no, if we get out of the GNU, then the EFF and MK party are going to come in. The thing is that they were not even supposed to be there making excuses, but they were supposed to be there protecting South Africans from the ANC. But as things stand, it looks like the ANC is still going to be able to continue to destroy the country as they please. The ANC, Ramaphosa has all the control. Ramaphosa has the control. He is the man in charge. So if you doubted Ramaphosa, now I think it tells us everything that we need to know about Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa is in charge. Ramaphosa is in charge, and none of these people actually have the guards or the balls to actually stand up against him. Can you just imagine the ANC? The ANC must be, they are laughing at the DA. The ANC, every time they think of the DA, they are laughing at them. They are saying, look at those people, man. These people are going to allow us to do everything they want, everything we want, simply because they don't want the EFF and MK party to get into the government of national unity. They are going to allow us to do everything we want, everything. We are going to implement every single policy that we want as the ANC. And we know that there is not a single thing that the DA can do about it. Because if the DA dares to do anything about it, they will be reminded soon that no, if you dare to get out of the GNU or to punish the ANC, and it is going to make way for the EFF and Mkhonto Sizwe. And the same Ramaphosa, who was supposed to have loyalty towards the DA, the same DA that is protecting him, he was there making offers for the EFF and MK party. You remember after he announced that he will be signing the Bela Bill into law, Ramaphosa did a press conference and he actually said that no, there is still a room open for EFF and MK party. So it looks like the DA joining the GNU, at the end of the day, it is not going to stop the ANC from inviting MK party and the EFF, because Ramaphosa himself was talking about inviting the same MK party and the EFF. He was talking about inviting the same MK party and the EFF. I said no. There's still room. There's still room. If the EFF and MK party wants to come and join the MK party, there's still room. The EFF and MK party, they can come and join the government of national unity. You would think these people would actually be loyal towards the DA, the same DA that has been showing them loyalty throughout and throughout. They're saying no, to hell with the DA, to hell with the DA. And how do you think the DA actually felt when Ramaphosa invited EFF and MK party into the GNU? How do you think the DA actually felt about that? How did they feel about it? How did they feel about President Ramaphosa inviting the same political parties that they swore that the only reason why they are in the GNU is to make sure that those two political parties do not get into governance? And now it looks like Ramaphosa wants the same political parties to come into the governance. And if MK party and the EFF said, no, let's try this thing of the government of national unity, what is the DA going to do? What is the DA going to do? Are they going to pull out of the GNU? If they pull out of the GNU, now you have MK party with 14%, you have the EFF with 9%, it's 25%. Now they are more emboldened than they did when they had you in power. They are more emboldened. What are they going to do? The ANC time and time again have shown their disregard to the DA, but it looks like the DA simply won't wake up to the fact that the ANC does not give a damn about them. The ANC doesn't give a damn about the DA. They don't give a damn. They don't give a flying damn about the DA. I said this when the ANC actually sidelined the DA in Gauteng. That's when I actually saw that, okay, the ANC does not give a damn about the DA. They don't give a damn about the DA. They don't. Panyaza Lesufi and Lebogang Maine and the likes in Gauteng, they told the DA straight up, just because you voted for our president to be the president of the country, it doesn't mean that we owe you anything. We don't owe you anything. We don't owe you anything. So they don't give a damn about the DA. They don't.
As hy daar verloor ek seker weer derde. Ja, ek is 'n kind van God, maar op 'n punt moet jy daarom omdraai en sê Dawid het nie vir Goliat met 'n kop geslaan nie, hy het hom met 'n klip gemoor. Samson het nie net 'n persoon met 'n deur gemoor nie. Hy het die pilare laat deurkry deur die krag van God. Dis nou tyd vir dit. Want die malligheid lyk my het van die eenmaal mens gesprei tot in die semels van die varke en hulle sit in die parlement. Die dwaase, die malligheid om vandag te staan en om 'n wet te teken wat die toekoms van jou, ek het nog 'n kind op skool. Ek het die reg. Ek praat met die ouers. Ek praat met die ouers. Ek het die reg, ek is 'n pa. Ek het 3 seuns, 1 dogter en 'n kleinkind. Aiden, my kleinkind, gaan nou suffer omdat 'n absolute drakoniese, verskriklike on-IQ mens besluit het hy het die mandaat en hulle staan daar en klap bly die hande. You are a traitor. You're a traitor. Jy het my toekoms vir my kinders vandag op pen en papier weggeteken en die DA en al die ander ministers wat ons uitverkoop het staan daar. Hulle byt hulle tande, hulle weet hulle het nou net gekak onder die mense, want hierdie mense wat na die baljet toe gegaan het, wat julle vertrou het, what shocker today it must be that you let that man sign it. Now, you have a time of redemption. Hoor my? Hoor my? Julle kan nog hierdie ding regmaak, DA. Julle kan hierdie ding regmaak, IFP. And I'm telling you, the only one and the only thing I want to see to redeem yourself today is that by Monday morning, I want to see a national class court action from you that let them do this today against them. I dare you. Who's with me? Mense wat hier so is. Wie saam met my? Wys my, asseblief. Of sit ek hier onder 'n boom en raak 130 grade oor niks? Is daar enigiemand hier so op lyn? Is there anybody here that's watching me? Is there anybody here that will give me a like, that will give me a heart, just to tell me that I'm not talking on my own? Is there anybody here? Is daar enigiemand hier wat saam met my stem? As jy nie saam met my stem nie, dan weet jy nie wat aangaan nie. Is jy nie ouer en jy voel vere? Alright, beweeg aan, kry jou Vrydag choppie. Ek praat met die mense wat besef wat vandag met ons gebeur het. Ons is uitverkoop vandag. Daar kom dit. Kyk aan. Daar's hy. Daar's dit. Dank God ek is nie alleen onder hierdie boom vandag. Hierdie is 'n loutere baie sterk boodskap aan elke persoon in die land wat ons gaan uitverstem het, wat ons gaan uitverkoop het. Hierdie is jou boodskap vandag. Ons gaan moet nou wakker skrik. Ek is kwaad, ek is jammer. Ek het 2 kinders nog op skool. Dag na dag het die UIM die waarheid gepraat. Dag van dag, 18.000 kilometer het ons gery om een stem in die parlement te kan kry, sodat ek nie vandag in 'n kar onder 'n boom moet sit nie, maar in die parlement hulle moer vloek. Om vir hulle te sê, julle sal betaal deur God se bloed, maar ek het nie daai stem in die parlement nie, ek is dit ontneem. Ek is dit ontneem, want ons is op hierdie oomblik geonderdruk, besteel en gelieg voor. Dis reg, dit was nie God se wil nie. Dis nie God se wil nie. God het gesê, bly uit daai parlement, bly uit daai GNU, want daar gaan 'n tyd kom wat jy gaan moet opstaan en die mense moet lei teen waaroor ons vandag die hele tyd vir die mense gewaarsku het. We warned you. Because when every single party that is currently part of the GNU fails, when they sink, when they find out that the ANC is not a political movement, but a draconian mafia grouping that was found guilty at the Zondo Commission, where this same president, who currently signs our children's future away, admitted in front of Judge Zondo that the ANC is accused, number one. You admitted it. Maar daar sit jy, as die DA, die Vryheidsfront. Ja, julle weet wie ek is. Julle weet presies, want ek het tussen julle gesit. Geluister, elke dag, hoe ons probeer om nie te kom, waar die 13de September 2024 ons nou gebring het nie. If you voted for them, shame on you. If you put them in power, then I tell you today, if you put those parties in the GNU in power, then you better get up today, and every one of you write to your leadership. You write to John Steenhuisen, you write to Helen Zeller, you write to Pieter Groenewald, you write to Honorable Slabisa, you write to Herman Mashaba, you write those letters today to Kevin Meswe, and you tell them how shocked you are. How shocked you are that their president, Cyril is now their president, You must demand from your party, like the UIM demanded from me, and we do that. We do that. We do what our supporters tell us to do. Now you go do it. I task and dare every person wat hulle is hierso. Ek kom ons nou sien. Die verraaier sit hier. You can now defend your party on my platform. But you cannot run away from the truth. Jy kan hierso kom absurde nonsens praat. Ek weet meer van politiek as wat jy weet van jou geboorte. Ek is in dit, ek is nie buite dit nie.
So, I guess it's fair to say that many people are actually disappointed. Many people are disappointed with these political parties allowing the ANC to sign the Bela Bill. We don't know what they are actually going to do. We don't know if they are going to, but I don't think that these people are going to. I don't think that any of these people actually are willing to to get out of the GNU, man. There are too many benefits, man. There are too many benefits being in governance, but I believe that the ANC is going to do everything in its power to make sure that political parties like the DA, Freedom Farm Plus, IFP, they lose support. The ANC is going to do everything in their power to make sure that those political parties, they lose their support, because you could sit down and say that maybe this is Ramaphosa's grand plan to actually destroy the DA. Maybe it is his grand plan to get rid of the DA, because he knows that the supporters of the DA, they actually know how to respond to things they don't like. Unlike the supporters of the ANC, they can sit there and watch the ANC destroy the country and still vote for the ANC. But the supporters of the DA, they are not going to sit there and allow the DA to help the ANC to destroy the country. So there is more for the ANC to gain, and there is more for the DA to lose. Maybe it is their grand plan to actually see the DA losing support. Maybe it was their grand plan from the start. I don't know. Guys, please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.